Hello, this is a short video that will help you to prepare to write your academic journal article review assignment, which is due Thursday, February 25th. What you're looking at on my screen is a PDF file that is uploaded to the Canvas website that gives you some information about what to do. In this tutorial, I will also show you how to find those academic articles. So what you need to do is you need to find an article to review. Once you find that article, you will read that article that you have chosen and make notes as you do. As precisely as possible, you will describe what the article is about. You may respond to the following questions, but you must write in essay form. In other words, you don't have to follow these questions. You can use a different format to engage the article, but you do have to write this short assignment in essay form. Full sentences, not a thesis question or a thesis statement per se, but that always helps. So the questions are, who wrote the article? What area of Chinese history do they specialize in? What languages can they read? I think we would all agree it is important for a historian of China to be able to read and perhaps even speak Chinese, let alone Japanese or other languages, maybe even French or German. What approach does the author take? Do they take? Is it philological? Is it philosophical, historiographical, anthropological, sociological, economic, and so forth? Those are some of the questions you might be able to look at. Now, I hope one article won't deal with all of those things, but maybe you're looking at something that is more linguistically oriented. That would be philology, or maybe more anthropological, focusing on the study of people. So those are some questions or approaches you could look at. I also should apologize for an email popping into the right-hand side of the screen, but these things happen. Does the author use a mixture of approaches? What question or questions does the author attempt to answer? Are they successful? Why or why not? And what kind of evidence does the author provide to answer the question? So you can use these, but you don't have to use these. However, you do have to make critical comments about the subject of the article. This means you need to add your own 2 cents. If you're in doubt, you can ask me. This means this article was impressive to me. I learned this about Chinese history and the history of economics. Or perhaps I learned this about the people who traveled in this particular region. It depends on what you're looking at. But you need to say how the article was successful from your point of view. This is supposed to be about 1,000 to 1,500 words, so it's relatively short. And I want you to bear in mind that one page, double-spaced, with 1-inch margins, 12-point times New Roman font, equals about 250 words in English. So you can get a sense of exactly how long this is. Now, double-spaced is pretty long. We all know that. Okay. What are some viable journals to start with? Viable means suggestions. These are arguably the best journals in the field, but it doesn't mean it by any means these are the only ones you may look at. So we have Tungbao, which is one of the very best, the Harvard Journal of Asiatic Studies, the Journal of the Royal Asiatic Society, Cahiers d'Extrême-Asie, which is the School of the Far East in France, the École Française d'Extrême-Orient. Now, those articles are mostly in English since the 1990s. Monumenta Serica, Asia Major, the Journal of the American Oriental Society, Early China, Tang Studies, the Journal of Song Yuan Studies, Ming Studies, Late Imperial China. You can see a sense here is that if you're more interested in early China, you can go there. If you're more interested in late Imperial China, go there. Also, the University of California, Berkeley has perhaps the best site available anywhere with resources in English, Chinese, from Taiwan and mainland China in terms of a little bit more focused for those of you who are very interested in the topic. But I'm certainly not suggesting you have to be, okay? So this is just what's on Canvas and running through it. Now, what you're probably going to want to do is to find these journal articles. You need to go to the University of Saskatchewan Library website, no matter where you are, even if you're in China. So this is what it looks like on your browser. And of course, I have multiple tabs open here. But the first thing you want to do is notice that to find journals, you want to go to, not journals, that seems like the right place to go, but it's not. Databases is where you want to go. And then, of course, if you go in here, you're going to notice some examples I have. JSTOR is probably going to be your best. Project Muse is another database that you could use, very useful. ATLA is very, very good for religious studies things. ProQuest is good for PhD dissertations. You don't need to be doing that, but if for some reason for your research paper you need to, you have access. Cambridge History of China can be a place to start. And then, of course, Encyclopedia Britannica. That could be another place to start. But for the articles, you probably want to go JSTOR, Project Muse. All right? So we're going to go to JSTOR. All right? Now, then you just hit this button, okay? And then, of course, you're going to open up a new window, and then you're going to do online access, and then you're probably going to be asked for your NSID. Here you can see I've already been here. Now, search journals, primary sources, and books on JSTOR. This is what matters most. What you put in that box will determine how many hits you get and how relevant those hits will be. Let me just give you an example. Chinese history. How many hits will we get? 367,000. That's ridiculous. Obviously, that's not going to help you. You're even going to see, a portrait of Confucius, episodes from the Chinese history of the Tang or something from 1792. This is not going to help. You're going to notice we have 344,000 journals, 6,000 book chapters, and then 5,000 research reports. Not going to help. So that's not a good search term. We could, however, let's just say for fun that we want to think about a term that you've seen in the class or a particular place. Now, just for fun, I'm going to use, there's a particular library we'll be talking about in the coming weeks called Dunhuang, okay, and documents. So here we have 1,401 search results. Better. Now, the key issue here is we're going to notice that you can sort your results by relevance, by newest or oldest. Now, oldest could be interesting because you might find that Jacques Janet wrote something back in 1964. And of course, this is in French. So if you know French, this is great, and he's an exceptional scholar. There's nothing wrong with using older sources from 1965 or even 1900. But the key issue here is there needs to be a reason to do that. You can also search by newest, which may be relevant, but it also might not be. The Epitaph of Buddhist Lady, a newly discovered Chinese Sogdian bilingual by Nicholas Sims Williams, published in 2020. Okay, this could be really cool. Maybe that's something you're interested in. So then, of course, you simply hit download, and then you go through I accept, and then you put it wherever you want on your computer. So that's an example. Notice this is just by using the newest, The Cultural Politics of Old Things in Mid-Tang China, by a good friend of mine, Tian Xiaofei. Now, this is from 2020 also. Nice, okay, this is good and specific. Also, you can see right here that this author knows Chinese, this author knows Chinese, or they wouldn't be giving you the text there. Fakes, delusions, or the real thing. Albert Grundwiehl's Maps of Shambhala. I strongly recommend this article if anybody's curious. Sam Van Skyke, that's how you pronounce his name, is one of the very best in the field, and he writes with a really clear perspective if you're interested in this kind of thing. He's looking at mostly Tibetan texts, okay? But that'd be an example. Now, what if you're more interested in agriculture or anthropology or American studies or art and art history? This gives you a way by which you can sort those. And again, going back up, the other thing you can, of course, do is by relevance if you think that your key words were as useful as they should be. So this is just one example, all right, in terms of finding academic articles. And notice we have the Journal of the American Oriental Society. We have Artibus Azi, so that's an excellent art history journal. And then we've got Eric Trombert's Age of Major. So it won't surprise you that some of the very best journals come up here when we search the topic I suggested. Now let's say you want to choose another one. For example, maybe you're interested in silk. All right, let's see what happens. We get 122 results for Bald-Headed Destroyers of Living Things, Buddhist Identity in the Silk Cultures of Medieval China, published in Asia Major back in 2017. So maybe this is interesting, but notice we're obviously looking at Silk Road things here, and that's kind of on my mind because I teach another class there. But maybe instead what you're much more interested in is a particular emperor. You're interested in Emperor Han Wudi. Okay, so what are we we're going to have 736 results there. Han and Xiongnu, a re-examination of cultural and political relations. This is a 2003 article, excellent article. Imperial China, Practice Makes Perfect. It's a book chapter, okay? That could work for this project, but you'd need to get permission from me. So you can see exactly what it is. It tells you if it's a book chapter or journal article. So this is the end of this little tutorial. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me separately.